Okay, let's make this run of Ruby more interesting. Release a Pokemon if it faints. Have to catch the first Pokemon in each area, and nothing else. 15 years ago, these words lit the spark that would erupt into one of gaming's greatest challenges. The Nuzlocke. The ignition caused hundreds of people to flock to a forum to post their adventures with this code of 2 simple rules. But like a raging fire lit from the smallest spark, it fades with time. My ember was among those flames that flickered but didn't quite go out. 15 years later, the flint and steel struck my coals. A new game, a new challenge, one based on Pokemon Generation 9. The new game was a frontier hardly traveled that few people even knew about. People passed it by, but where others saw inferiority, I saw potential. Potential is like a fire. When nurtured, it can grow, and my fire, on June 20th, 2024, was relit with a desire. A desire to return to the challenge that woke that fire to begin with. This is my attempt at a hardcore Nuzlocke of the hardest Generation 9 game, Pokemon Lucid. Welcome to Pokemon Lucid, an Emerald Decom pack developed by user Hoenn as the definitive Generation 9 Nuzlocke experience. The game was created with a unique AI system that specifically makes double battles more engaging. Additionally, Lucid has some incredible quality of life such as a portable Pokemon Center, pre-damaging and statusing in the menus. Pokeballs also all are treated as Master Balls, because who the heck likes catching Pokemon? I mean, have they played Crystal Kaizo Plus? New areas have shifted the landscape of a once familiar Game Boy experience to update it to modern standards. Now Game Freak, let's take a few notes here. I've been Nuzlocking for almost 15 years, and recently the challenge has grown a much larger audience. Players have gotten better as the games have continued to get harder. Surely I, my old washed self, can tackle a challenging game like this, right? I mean, every single gym leader has 6 Pokemon with diverse coverage, and even some variable types. How hard could it be? Okay, so good news about Lucid is that there's no moving truck to wallow in despair over your last Norman wipe in. No, instead the player starts in their room, gets all the useful quality of life right away, and then promptly goes to receive their starter. I normally pick grass and Nuzlocks for being useful, and the wheel happens to give me a Trico, so yeah. Well, now that I've completed my Ash Ketchum cosplay and gotten some dumb electric rodent instead of an actually cool starter, because I was definitely not oversleeping on the first day I was supposed to be live, I can segue into a shameless stream plug for twitch.tv/CharlieMew2. I streamed this whole challenge live over there. I should also mention that this is the hardcore Nuzlocke rule set that I chose to use for this challenge. Okay, it's on screen, you can pause, you can read it. Okay, it's going away. Okay, starter, in the bag, first encounters. Let's go get them. I get Kabuto, Houndour, Emolga, Spoink, and lastly, Scraggy. The early trainers are nothing notable, except that 3 of them have the starters that I should have had. I beat them up and take their pocket change before quickly finding that my in-game father has abandoned his post at the gym. This means I don't have to watch a dumb tutorial, and I can instead pillage the city's lake for one of its inhabitants.
It is what it is, you know.
A true visionary of all fish kind, Seaking will lead the eventual charge into battle as this run's most potent secret weapon, only to be busted out for the most difficult fights and powerful opponents. Do not underestimate his will to be the most powerful ruler of... Okay, so anyway, I need to get to Rustboro. On the way there, I get a Skiddo and a Starly. Then I meet some kids who actually listened to the playground rumor and looked under the truck. It's not fair, man. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. I get even more encounters, including a Corphish north of the Rustboro, a Sandshrew in Rustboro, and a Tinkatink on Route 116. Wait, the Pokedex says that you get Clink and Pawniard here, not Tinkatink. Roxanne looks to stop this run stone cold.
With her rock-hard defenses, I'll need to go and clear out Route 116 and 117 for some more encounters. But I lost Tinkertuff almost immediately to this hiker due to a misplay. Resetting before the first gym would make me feel a little bit silly since I know nothing about what lies ahead and don't know how bad of a loss it is. Okay, whatever. Surely losing one of the best type combinations in the game won't haunt me for the rest of the run. It especially wouldn't have been useful for one of the first real double battles of the game. Oh yeah, double battles. Those are pretty special in Lucid, as I mentioned in the first, few seconds of this video. So let me familiarize the class with them. Doubles work similarly in most Pokemon games. If the enemy can knock out one of your Pokemon, they will always go for the kill, even using both of their Pokemon to do it. This gives you agency to protect or switch and essentially waste the AI's turn. However, in Lucid, the AI will be unable to attack the same slot if both Pokemon can knock out one of yours. This targeting will usually prioritize diagonals, but it will always act efficiently with how it dishes out damage. So for example, if it can kill one of your Pokemon by attacking across, that will be the targeting. If they can knock out both Pokemon with both of theirs, the targeting will default to diagonals. In addition, Lucid's damage calculation only uses one roll, the 8th specifically, for making its decisions. Okay, with the lecture over, let's take a look at one of the fights in question. There's an arena trap bench in the back, and a Baniri with Fake Out to stun your Pokemon. Luckily, Togedemaru is the perfect Pokemon to have in double battles, since it's fast and has Fake Out itself. The trap bench mysteriously doesn't have a ground type move, but once it's out of the way, it's pretty easy to navigate the rest of the fight. But even with all that lecture, I actually didn't know what the hell I was doing, so I just balled out and clicked buttons until the enemy Pokemon fainted. And wow, look at that! Holy crap, I made it to Rusturf Tunnel. Inside, I get a Larvitar. Exiting the tunnel, I get to Verdanturf Town, where there's some grass and I catch a Mareep. There are extra fights that I can do on Route 117 to get a grass type, but none of them look particularly useful for Roxanne, so I just wuss out and don't do them. It would be a super darn shame if a future patch happened that made all of these fights that were optional before the Brawly Sprit level cap, so you could have a stronger team before you do that. Speaking of Roxanne, I can't stall any longer, and now I have to take her on. Togi D, Scraggy, and Staravia make up a bulk of the heavy lifting for this fight. Togi D has the ability Iron Barbs. This ability racks up damage whenever it's attacked by a contact move. Scraggy and Staravia's Intimidate abilities synergize nicely because it means I can decrease the amount of damage that my starter takes, letting me get more pivots and racking up chip damage on Roxanne's Drillbur, Dwebble, and Tyrunt before eventually taking them out. Scraggy easily 1v1s Cloth and tag teams with Togi D to chip and defeat Tinkertuff. The most problematic Pokemon actually ends up being the Demon Kabuto. I just end up risking one critical hit with my Staravia to weaken it with Intimidate. Then Corphish can finish it off. Well, this sure was a lot of effort for one measly gym badge. Upon winning, I get access to some evolutions. Roxanne takes pity on the state of my box, telling me, hey, yo, that Seaking guy, he's not it. You're not going anywhere. So, to deal with it, she gives me some mints fresh from her stash to assist me for later fights down the line. What she doesn't know is that Seaking will have its time one day, with or without her help. Wait, wasn't I supposed to, fight Team Aqua twice during this whole split? There's something seriously going on in Hoenn. Some kind of conspiracy. Where is the evil team? Okay, it's Brawly Split, and there's still no sign of those bandana-wearing punks. I run back through the Petalburg Woods and fight my way to the beach. Along the way, I pop through the newly added Woods hideout, and I get an Ekans. Apparently, Mr. Briny was evicted and sold his boat. His trusty bird Pico can still be employed to give me a lift to Dewford Town. The remote island has some newly added grass to the east and in town. I grab new encounters to get like Girafarig, Citadel, Tyrogue, and with a higher level cap, I can clear the fights on Route 117 and pick up a Petalil. This whole pack, small fry. Not a single one of these guys can even hope to compete with the encounter that was coming up next. Interesting. I don't know how to feel about that. I can't evolve it. I don't think it helps me that much. I always feel like Starmie is kind of underwhelming, even though it's supposed to be really good in every game. The people will know this unstoppable beast power the second the weights are dropped off. I mean, when I get a Waterstone. Brawly's Dojo is nowhere near the menacing roadblock that it's become infamous for in a certain other difficult ROM hack, but it's not free. Defiant Passimian, Sculplin's Primeape, a very bulky Grapploct. Those are just some of the threats that drop their dumbbells in this gym. The Arena Master Brawly himself is no joke. The big boss backs a fully evolved team. Why can't my Scraggy have evolved by this point? Just another developer cheat code to stop me in my tracks. The squad I have to bring unfortunately doesn't have the best matchup into the Flaming Bull, Paldean Tauros, so balling hard and punching back blow for blow is clearly the best option. Sandslash easily handles Lucario before Brawly sends in Annihilate. I was not expecting the big guy to come in this quickly and have to send in Giraffe Rig early. The 1 versus 1 ends up going worse than I wanted. Totally not because I screwed it up and didn't switch in on a Rage Fist. So now Hawlucha sees a random move. If it U-turns out, I lose so much tempo. Luckily, the big guy does not want to pass the baton to his teammates and selfishly ends up getting blasted by Emolga. However, on the way out, he lowers my Rodent speed, meaning that the Water Tauros can come in now, seeing a kill with Rock Tomb. Arbok and Grumpig team up to take on the Bull before Scrafty hits the floor. Hitmonchan has a way worse matchup than I thought though, and I end up having to risk a payback crit on Emolga to finish the job. Unfortunately, as the final bell calls for Brawly's last Pokemon, the Flaming Tauros I was so afraid of before makes his mark. Arbok barely clutches up to get some chip damage down before Grumpig valiantly sacrifices himself so Later, pal. Oh my god, he saves himself with a crit! No way! How many farm animal bouts have you guys seen where a pig beats a cow? Brawly's utter embarrassment at being 6-0'd mean that I unlock a new level cap, letting me evolve most of my box. My own Scrafty finally gets online before I'm suddenly abducted by the next checkpoint. The only way off here is through a bunch of kids and sailors, and definitely not by flying off using Pico, who for some reason I still have. Bryony, how long am I going to be renting your bird for? I fish here as well, which gets me an Azrael. Of course, after the fighting type gym leader, this is totally useful, right? It actually is. It's a really useful Pokemon. Nonetheless, it's appreciated, and I walk through the beach. None of the fights are too hard, except for another double battle. This fight has a Sea King with Lightning Rod, preventing Togepi from soloing the other side. But that's okay. Proper planning and using the fact that I can force the Tentacruel to Toxic on turn 1 means that I can buy enough turns to kill Sea King and make the fight free. Yes, I screw up and that's what I should have done, but let's not talk about that. Look, see? I won. No deaths. Arriving in Slateport City means now I can go to the market and get all the free samples. It's like Costco out here. There's free type boosting items, free dolls, a free powder jar. Oh, and evolution stones. And I guess 2 new encounters. So I get a Tentacool and a Shinx, and yeah, okay, I'm gonna go back to shopping. Don't worry, guys. Route 110 is the only route between Mauville and Slateport, and there's only a few double battles on there. I didn't even screw any of them up. Look, see? I entered Mauville. I fish 118, and I get a Surskit. Then, I take a trip to the daycare, where I get a free egg that gives me a Magby. Wait. No. Sorry, let me check my notes again. Oh, okay. It's a Mime Jr. A Harvard study indicated that over 66% of daycare eggs are mercilessly and brutally transformed into Magby against their will. Please, do your part and donate to our cause and support the endangered Elekid and Mime Jr. families, whose numbers will continue to dwindle. Anyways, Watson's gym is pretty straightforward, but right before Watson himself is another double battle. Guitarist Sean has 5 really tough Pokemon, but I also have a very good boy. My good dog can spam Burning Jealousy to chip his entire team down while everyone else locks in and takes down the remaining members. Who needs a real strategy? So I heard in Emerald Kaizo that Watson is like really tough and a real threat, but he is washed up. Oh my god, he is so free and lucid. So Titan and Sandslash alone almost cleaved through his entire team, with my newly evolved Lilligant not even needing to hit the field. His Ace Palmot just gets put through multiple Intimidate blenders before Farigiraf finishes him off. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Why was this fight so much less detailed than the others? Because, dude, Watson in Lucid is free. Nobody has ever wiped to this guy, I swear. With the 3rd badge in the badge case, it is finally time. We're unleashing the beast that you have all forgotten about in the minutes since I last introduced him. Starmie has finally come online. Well, after he learned Psychic, I had to delay him so that I could evolve him and he could learn that and he would be, like, useful. So the problem now is I still don't know how to swim, so I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to get to Sootopolis from here. The next gym is in Leverage? No, it's Sootopolis. See? It says in the badge overlay right there. Bane has tossed me a major curveball. Lucid's midgame is not the same Hoenn I'm familiar with. To reach Juan, I'll have to snag a ticket to the ferry. Rumor has it that they sell them in Leverage, so my initial destination is still going to be the same. A bunch of weather doubles block the way forward. All of these guys have focus sashes, which were of course changed in a later patch, because why wouldn't something get changed in a later patch after I do it? Guys, do you remember Goldeen, who evolved into Sea King since then? Yeah, he got a knockout here. Please work the way. Please, please, please. Yes! Let's go! Sea King frag! Let's do it! Yes! My goat! I accidentally forget to turn my repel on, so I end up getting a Trapinch when I rock smash this one little boulder right here. Flygon evolves to level 40 in this game, so I get this incredible powerhouse right away, instead of having to wait a ridiculously long time for a Pokemon with no good stab moves until level like 70 in vanilla games. On Route 112, I get a Sizzlipede. Fiery Path, a Salandit. Oh, and guess what? She has the magical Fake Out button. Everything has gone so well. I'm even riding the high off of the first appearance of Starmie where it sweeps this known bum fight. It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Oh, you know what I just realized I can do against the Rotom? I can U-turn. I didn't even think about that. Oh, what? It's faster! Deserved. That's okay, I really didn't need that bum. It's not even that good. I mean, it has the most on-record Elite Four wipes in this game anyway. We gotta lock back in. Route 113, I get a Glimmet. Next is a double battle against a few ninjas with some hacks items. Yay! Ninjas! Everyone loves ninjas. Oh! That just went into both. That works like that?! Okay, I really gotta lock in. Town has a free Eevee that evolves into a random evolution. However, I couldn't find the girl who gives me one, so I have to settle for smashing a rock and getting a Tyrant. Haha, it'd be really funny if she came back in some other patch later in the future, right? Route 114 has a bunch of easy fights. I snag a Cutie Fly from the grass. Picnicker Nancy is a later fight on this route that's been known to frustrate many runners due to her annoying follow me spam and Eevee-like guys. But I have the go for this fight, which is Flygon, so please ignore that I just pressed buttons at some point and almost lost like 3 more Pokemon because of it. I really haven't learned anything about double battles at this point. Luckily, a few single battles ranked in difficulty by how strong their starter Pokemon are all that block me from, you guessed it, even more encounters. Meteor Falls is awesome because I can get a guaranteed Noivern here later in the game, but Patience is for wusses, so I just catch a Pawniard instead. Kingambit is also available later in the game, so that's pretty exciting. A new geological inclusion in Hoenn is the Meteor Path. Mount Chimney's cable car broke, so I have to go this way to get to the Jagged Pass. On the way, I catch a Dracozolt. It is a Pokemon so unbelievably that it was even removed from the game in a later patch. In fact, he will never be mentioned again in the rest of the video, and I'm going to spoil that I just end up sacking him. If you see the death counter just increment with no mention, that's what happened to this guy. I hate Dracozolt. Oh, and I get a Tauros Paldean combat guy like later. Not that I have a choice because I just run into 2 at the same time. Thanks, game. Okay, almost a Lava Ridge. Oh god, there's one more double battle. Another, not again. I just can't keep getting away with it. Balling is so hard. Nancy almost killed my whole team. If I just keep loving my way through these fights, eventually something's going to crash. So I actually decide I'm gonna take my time with this one. The gimmick is that there are several Pokemon on one side with Intimidate and several with Fake Out. By using Masquerade and Kabutops' pivots, I can keep the lead Kangaskhan busy while killing off one side before finally soloing the Kangaskhan and taking out all the guys in the back. Hey, easy! Strategy! Wait, did I assemble a cohesive strategy that made use of the fact that I can control exactly what slot the AI can target even as it constantly gains attack boosts from Howl over and over again? Did I actually learn something? With that dizzying knowledge check passed, I enter Lava Ridge Town and I encounter Brendan. Beating him in the game's first rival battle nabs me a first-class ticket for a cruise to Satopolis. Oh, why didn't I show the battle on screen? It was just so easy and definitely existed at the time that I played the game, so I just didn't need to bore the viewers. On my way out of town, an old woman lets me have an egg she's been taking care of. This egg contains one of any starter Pokemon that does not have a Hisuian form. Finally, my chance to obtain a starter Pokemon. After making that mistake sleeping in the other day, I'm being gifted a second chance on a silver platter. Oh god, I just need Trico. I just want, like, something good. Ape would be awesome. Oh, come on! Alright, so pretty frustrated, but, you know, we move. It looks like Ground and Kyogre's scuffle back then left some remnants, so there's, like, extra land in the city now. I fetch a Cottony from the newly added grass, and the Cave of Origin is abandoned now, so I grab a Cubone from there. Cubone can evolve into either form, so I use the Firestone to get the Alolan one because I need a Ghost type. Juan's gym has 10 entire fights. I stopped most of them so hard that I even complained to upper management that there were too many fights in the gym, and so some of them were permanently evicted. The last girl, however, did not seem too keen that I was complaining about her having too many friends, and I learned that Psychic Noise negates Giga Drain, not just like Synthesis and stuff. I have to sacrifice the anti-clutch Go-Goat so I can cook this girl's fish for dinner. But with the crisis averted, I'm staring face to face with what is by far the hardest fight yet, by a mile. Hoenn could easily pass for a final boss in any other romhack. His team is stacked with 6 strong threats and permanent rain pelting down on top of me. This fight will demand sacrifice, especially because of his ace, Archaludon. This is a moment to talk about another particular quirk with Lucid that hasn't come up yet. Most of the game's attacks have secondary effects. Those are split into positive or negative categories. Moves that drop stats like close combat or recoil moves like Flare Blitz will never be clicked to kill the player's Pokemon if it can also kill with a different move. And that makes sense. The AI wouldn't want to drop its stats or take damage if they can avoid it. However, if they see they can gain a benefit from killing with a positive effect, it will always click that move. Moves like Trailblaze to set up speed or Bulldoze to punish switches with speed drops, critical strikes to catch incoming resistances are some examples of positive effects. The critical strike thing got changed in later. Okay, I get it. Anyway, Archaludon has Electroshot, a powerful, normally 2-turn move that boosts your special attack and fires instantly in rain. If Hoenn ever sees an Electroshot kill, it will go for it because it's a positive effect. Almost nothing in the game can handle that monster at +1 without dodging a crit. Oh yeah, and on top of all of that, Hoenn has an arguably even more terrifying Basculegion that packs Water Gem Flip Turn and Water Pulse to disrupt player tempo. Sometimes, though, it can lead to a positive outcome. Alright, by now you're as familiar as I am with this beast of a fight. The run either continues or it ends here. Either way, there will be some blood spilled. Ampharos leads on Politoed, Volt switching into Whimsicott on an Earth Power before healing back to full with Giga Drain. This baits in Tentacruel, who Togepi can pivot through on a poison move to get into Starmie. The Godslayer zaps the squid with a single Side Shock after getting burned by Scald on the switch in. This brings in the Big Fish. Now, Kangaskhan can swap in for free on a Shadow Ball before eating a Water Pulse. Held Persianberry keeps me safe from confusion, but since I couldn't run the Black Glasses, this Sucker Punch is a range to kill. If I miss the kill, I have no way to fillet this fish, and I'm cooked. Sucker. Please kill. Yes! Yes! The Persianberry! Quackable shimmies onto the dance floor, but Starmie and Togepi can run back their dynamic duo to take out the Dancing Duck. The fight is only going to get scarier. Hoenn, recognizing that I am in possession of the ultimate weapon, decided to test me to see if I was worthy of wielding the might of Starmie. He unleashes his own star onto the field and takes out Ampharos as I get a free switch to Whimsicott. Unfortunately, both Pokemon are speed tied, so if I get crit or I lose the speed tie on the second turn, I will just lose. Okay, we won the speed tie. Okay. Oh man. Yeah, I gotta risk this. Whimsicott could die. Let's go! Yes! Let's go! With that nail-biter done, the final obstacle, Archaludon, hits the field. Whimsicott can safely U-turn out here. At the HP I'm at, I never bait the positive effect of Electroshot. This lets me go into Kangaskhan, who has to hold to get the final chip with Sucker Punch needed to finish the fight. I'm doing that. I'm balling. No crit, no high roll! Come on! Kangaskhan rips a fake out into Sucker 1-2 punch before valiantly going down. Archaludon is all charged up, but it's too late. Remember those nature-changing mints that Roxanne gave me? Well, Watson gave me a couple too. Flygon chomps down a naive herb, and with one mighty earth power, blasts a demonic bridge into scrap metal. The fight is over. I've spilled the blood of my precious Pokemon. But I will move. I've gotten this far. And hey, maybe I'll stop being such a bumbling fool. On leaving Sootopolis City, I reflect on the journey so far. It certainly wasn't getting any easier. In fact, it was about to change in a drastically different way. Hoenn tells me there's a new location that I'll have to go to. The Mirage Town. It's situated somewhere in the Hoenn Desert. So I need like go goggles to go there though, and the only pair in the region is apparently located on some newly formed island in the hands of the now former Elite Four member, Sydney. Why Brendan didn't just give me a pair when he left? Listen, we don't ask the questions around here. Actually, I ask a lot of questions. The ferry takes me out of Sootopolis before dropping me on Terra Island. The grass here is packed with cool Generation 9 Pokemon. I actually get something neat, which is a Charcadet. This little soldier can become either Armarouge or Ceruledge at this point in the game. I choose the latter since Bitterblade seems like a really OP move. The encounters here aren't the only new age thing. The entire island is a long and spiraling gauntlet where every trainer has 6 Pokemon, including one that will always terrasilize. Now, let's be real. Scarlet and Violet Competitive has shown why terrasilizing is cool, but there hasn't been a good way for a player to test the power of putting a crystalline stupid hat on their Pokemon in any mainline game. Well, one mainline game, I guess, because it's only in one. Well, it looks like Terra Island will finally be the first place I can try this out and not just spam my strongest stab move on the remaining 3 Pokemon in the enemy party. Wahoo! The fights are even going decently well. I blow through the first few pretty easily. Terrasilizing allows for defensive play as well as offensive. The matchups and synergies provided means that my formerly useless Tyrantrum can turn into a ghost type and break this one trainer's Thundurus' ankles. Side note, do Thundurus even have ankles? Do their bodies just vanish into the clouds? Why do people not ask more questions about Pokemon biology? Didn't I say that I shouldn't be asking so many questions like literally seconds ago? This Terra Fire Venusaur set gets walled by a Terra Poison Tyranitar, funnily enough. This one I was really proud of, until the matchup goes a little too well. There's a Bright Powder Obstagoon in the back that's staring me in the face, and I decide, oh, I have so much extra health, I'm gonna chip this guy with Rock Tomb. It has Defiant. So now I'm in huge trouble. This guy just got a giant power boost, and my Ribombee will have to hit through the Bright Powder to kill it now. But now I'm just baiting a random move, and if it's Body Slam, I will lose my only answer and wipe to this guy. I have to go into Glamora, who unfortunately has to go down. Ribombee clutches up, hits through the Bright Powder, and kills the Punk Rock Pokemon. Okay, no more hubris. Look, I know I said that about the Staraptor, but like, come on, no more hubris for real. Look, this time I can make this matchup safer by pivoting through Bisharp on this Sawk to get into Ribombee so it doesn't Poison Jab my Ribombee on the very next fight. Oh wait, duh, this is an easy switch. It's Poison Jab here, so I just go into you. No! What do you mean? Why? Oh wait, it didn't see kill, so it wanted speed control. Why? Why did I not laugh? My last few deaths were silly. I just kind of laughed them all off. But this time I was feeling upset. I just feel terrible. This run was feeling so good, and now I just feel like I lost 2 really good guys. Things had changed. The run I made it past 1. Such a difficult fight, and here I was just playing like I had been the entire time beforehand. Callously throwing caution to the wind, overthinking everything. Now I'm down to 1 measly steel type, my precious starter Togepi. Then he's just looming a few fights away, and I don't really know what to do now. I keep playing bad. My confidence is crushed. So I end stream, dejected for the first time all run. I was my own worst enemy. Walking away from the game was not easy. There was going to be more mistakes, I was just frustrated. So, that evening, I was back in the saddle. I plowed through the rest of Terra Island, and hey, no mistakes. I made it to Sydney, no more deaths. A fight with a former Elite Four member is going to require a team of all-stars to defeat. I choose the best of the best to go toe-to-toe with the current Terra Master. Saralege meets with his lead Ogerpon at the door and easily wins the 1 versus 1. Sydney's been taking some lessons from VGC, it seems, because right after the really broken Ogerpon is an Urshifu Single Strike. Scrafty can come in on a wicked blow, breaking its Focus Sash with a Fake Out before switching out to Ribombee. Ribombee tanks a CC effortlessly before giving Shifu a little kiss on the cheek, knocking him out. We continue blow for blow. Armarouge appears, and with some pivots between Scrafty and Tentacruel, I can wear it down for Cerulege to prove its superiority with a powerful Phantom Force. That's when I hear it. Hydreigon. Here, it's where I realized that Sydney was fired from the Elite Four for dirty tactics. Before the battle, he had poisoned this thing with an illegal steroid. This lets it eat a Pecha Berry off the rip the second it enters the field. As it terrasilizes into a poison type, the incredible raw power of the move Belch is now online, along with Levitate removing its ground weakness. Rain had created a monster and given it to Sydney. But I was no stranger to fighting monsters after today. Tentacruel tanks a hit as I make a pivot into a monster of my own. The superior Starmie is even faster than the mighty Pseudo-Legendary, tanking a Dragon Pulse with ease and terrasilizing into a Psychic type with a Twisted Spoon. The Great Beast is obliterated in a singular blast of psychokinetic power. Dejected, Sydney falls to his knees. Scrafty and Ribombee effortlessly dispatch Absol before Lilligant obliterates Samurott through its Assault Vest with her newly learned Leaf Storm. I take the goggles from Sydney's fallen body and leave Terra Island for good. My monsters and demons had been vanquished. My fallen friends avenged. But if Sydney was on that island, then who is waiting for me in Evergrande City? The only way I'm going to be able to find out is if I get through the desert. And speaking of the desert, I can see in the sand now. Since I had Rock Smash for Flygon earlier in the run, it means that I don't get to take anything from the desert. However, there is Mirage Tower, which, well, isn't really a mirage because I can walk into it. I get a Sandile here, That must have come out of some kind of lab, because what are these IVs? The goggles even let me see extra well, because none of the fights in the desert pose even a single problem, including this double with a cleaveboard that a self-proclaimed top 3 Nuzlocker called the biggest op in the entire game. Seriously, this cleaveboard is a demon, I swear. Now that Bright Powder Sandvale fight, that fight was so crazy, it even got nerfed in a later version. After braving the sandy shores, the newly formed Mirage Tunnel lets me add Sigilift to the team before I finally arrive in the fabled Mirage Town. Okay, look, it may not look like much, but it is the home of the 5th gym, and most importantly, the grass gives me a Hippopotas, one of the most fun Pokemon to say by name. Hippopotas, or Hippopotas, or Potato Popotas. Alright, now that I'm done tripping over my tongue, I'm just gonna go into the gym and... oh. All double battles. It's 3 double battles in a row. It's 3 double battles in a row with 6 Pokemon each. Why? Okay, so the first 2 are actually pretty easy since Star Mickey can just solo an entire side on each fight. But both battles are nowhere near as hard as the last one, which ends up taking me so long to crack that I actually need to use 2 of my nature changing mints since my Emolga speed ties the Gallade. Hey, but this is an actual strategy. Togedemaru's typing and access to Spiky Shield gets used to my advantage, so I can keep the enemy Excadrill busy while I reposition and kill the entire other side of the fight. Then I can just gang up on the Excadrill and all of its other friends for an easy win. This is where Togedemaru really shines as a starter Pokemon. In double battles with Fake Out, U-Turn, and Spiky Shield, I have infinite flexibility with how I want to play fights. Something is wrong. Similar to that strange feeling I had when Team Aqua and Team Magma are no-shows, there seems to be something else odd about this place. Don't even know who the gym leader is. In fact, why would someone give Sydney Go Goggles to hold on to and task him with like devouring and killing trainers before even getting to this specific gym? Unless... Steven Stone! Oh, I guess if I had read that sign outside of the gym, I already would have known this, huh? I mean, Nuzlockers can't read, so that's okay. It makes sense. He must have been authorizing Sydney's use of the pre-poison steroid. Like the former Elite Four member, the champion had also been ousted and demoted. That doesn't mean that a battle with him, however, will be any easier. His team is stacked on paper, with a whole squadron of elephants to trample me, along with pseudo-legendaries and a Landorus. Speaking of Landorus, he leads with the Genie. Hitmonchan punches it right down to its sash as rocks go up. However, Starmie can easily switch in on an extra sensory and clean him up with a Rapid Spin, baiting out Iron Treads. Treads tries to kill Starmie with a knockoff, but my newly evolved Hippopotamus can come in and tank the hit after eating an Impish Mint. She gets a little bit of chip before Starmie returns and washes the metal elephant away. This lets its modern variant come and take its place. Villagent comes in with a Jaboka Berry, breaking it sturdy and clapping back with a Giga Drain. Evolving even further through the timeline, Great Truck rolls on in next. Unfortunately for him, Whimsicott has the bulk and type combination to totally wall him, easily sending him back to the Stone Age. With his back against the wall, Steven sends out Metagross, his ace, who's no match for Houndoom as he's melted into slag. Hitmonchan smashes Hisui and Gudra's metal shell, and with that, Steven is defeated. It seems his time in the depths had made him weaker. I take the 5th badge from him and leave him to ponder his decisions. The corruption of the League seems to have run pretty deep, but with the former champion and an Elite Four member neutralized, the region will now be at peace. This unease, it's fluttering away. Hiko flies over to tell me that she knows how to surf now, which is weird because I'd think that a bird that's 1 part water type and 2 has lived with a sailor her whole damn life would know how to surf. Well, whatever. This means I get some new encounters. I get Route 105, 108, 134, and the abandoned ship. Lucid's water routes are interesting. They all share similar encounters, including the rare Alolan Guardian Tapu Fini. Legends say that to be graced with her presence, a Nuzlocker must be seen as the most Mickey and just hit the 2% guy without hitting any duplicates. Of course, that didn't happen to me, but surely other people aren't as unlucky as I am, right? Sigh. The whole Surf Sim overall nets me a Basculin, Carvana, Brillish, and a Fletchling. Some people have said that the last guy is the greatest Pokemon in Lucid. Others have said it's far and away the most overrated and overgassed. In fact, I even have some eyewitness testimony from a Talonflame disbeliever right here.
Ooh, my name's Talonflame. I get level 24/7 for doing 70% with super effective overheat. You need Gale Wings Tailwind to beat the game, wow.
Alright, thanks, Bazzo. I'm gonna make my own conclusion with this guy. I mean, he probably has to have really good... Oh, this guy is cracked. The merchants must have paid Rain off to give the Godbird its former glory back, because when I asked, why does this guy have pre-nerf Gale Wings, he said, it's fun to use. Hey, thanks, gang. The path forward is a familiar one to most travelers of Hoenn. With the weird mid-game twist out of the way, it's off to an Ona's gem. Route 118 has a few mindless fights before I can fetch a Phanpy from a small patch of grass to the east on Route 123. Shortly after, I catch a Gossifleur on Route 119. Once my new teammates are safely inside the box, a horrible rainstorm erupts over the route. 119 is permanently raining, as well as permanently in grassy terrain. Every single fight is designed to take advantage of both these mechanics, each with a relatively tanky threat or with a grassy seed to frustrate me. There's so many of them! Fisherman Chris is one of the most powerful Pokemon in the game, Halifin. A rain-boosted attack from this guy can one-shot most of my box. Luckily, the newly acquired Eldegoss is the perfect pivot with my newly acquired Jellicent to take it down with ease. Ranger Catherine is up next, a worshipper of Whitney from Johto. He's a Miltank and a Double. My Emolga can blow away the grass and let Starmie do its thing and chain several kills because Starmie is Mickey and just does that. Unfortunately, Future Rain realizes that terrain that's permanent shouldn't be removed, so I have to hurry through the route before I lose the race against time to another patch that makes Defog fail. It's not like I didn't do this ever again on this route. The next few fights aren't so bad. I see a glimpse of a Tentacruel in the water before I shake my head and move on. That particular guy seemed really bulky, so I'm really glad I didn't have to deal with him. The random trainers proving this formidable feels kind of like a bad sign. I've been going very slow and making sure to calc each fight without any urgency. This is how I've prevented deaths for almost an entire split at this point. The next fight is a double battle with a bunch of starter Pokemon, all of which who have ways to take advantage of Route 119's brutal terrain. Sceptile with grassy terrain boosted Leaf Storm, Greninja with rain boosted Water Shuriken, Skeleturge with Utility Umbrella to keep its fire type moves at full power. Ambush. The ninja attacks me before I'm ready. The ninja puts up a smokescreen, but I'm able to slice through it, taking out Kecleon and Sceptile with U-turn pivots from Togepi and Whimsicott. Greninja appears and sends a Water Shuriken towards Tentacruel, who soaks it while Weezing strikes at me again. A Dark Pulse critically strikes Togepi, sending my starter off balance as I miss a range on Greninja with a magnet-boosted Zing Zap. The worst possible thing that could have happened had happened. Simple double Maxwell crit. And with that, my last steel type, my starter, was gone. I thought I had moved past this. I thought my doubles plans were ironclad at this point. What had bumbling through the beach back on 109 to Steven's gym gotten me? A dead starter? I haven't even gotten out of this fight yet. The Titan and Tentacruel have to hold the line and deal with the weakened Frog before the Weezing can claim another kill with Destiny Bond. Luckily, my team holds, easily finishing off Skeleturge as we send the Ninja Boy to the bottom of the 119 river. I don't even have time to grieve. There's another ninja. I don't even have time to compose myself. My Sharp Ironhead flinches my Donphan several times in a row, and he has to go down. Crocodile gets its speed reduced, then takes a heavy hit on the revenge kill. Dusknoir is now seeing a random move, but I'm too slow. I have to switch out. Jellicent ends up coming in on the wrong attack. It goes down as well. Crocodile can come back, and it can take a second kill, but it's all gone to hell. The run is down 3 Pokemon in 2 fights. Good Pokemon. It's bleeding. A Serperior looms over me as I've taken down 3 of this guy's Pokemon by now. A focus band wrapped around its smug forehead as my Centiskorch prepares to strike. That focus band procs right now. Serperior will live, and a contrary boosted Leaf Storm and grassy terrain will sweep the rest of my party with no effort. With a heavy heart and my run flashing before my eyes, Scrafty, Starmie, Ceruledge, Lilligant, some of the MVPs who have carried this run. Togepi, gone and not forgotten, I command Senti to strike Serperior as Leaf Storm rips across his body. He holds. I close my eyes. I have to hit through this focus band. If it procs, I will wipe. Serperior had been cleaved in 2. The focus band didn't activate. I don't even get a moment to grieve for my fallen, as Senti quickly falls to my worst nightmare. Another Greninja! This stupid frog. Whimsicott, however, is primed for revenge for her fallen teammates, and saps its energy before I'm rushed away to the safety of Fortree City. 4 of my teammates in 2 fights, dead. It's Terra Island all over again, but it's so much worse. What had happened? I just saved the entire region, hadn't I? I just defeated Sydney and Steven. They were the villains, right? Did I make it up? Was it all in my head? Were they really just retired Elite 4 members who just wanted to chill and meet more challengers? Those 2, they probably didn't do anything wrong. I probably just made it up to make myself seem cool. And that's why I lost Togepi. It was my punishment. Right? There were no steel types left in my box. The run was seriously bleeding. There were still Pokemon left in the box, but without any more Steel-types, things just could not carry on like this. I look up at the 4-tree gym, its long shadow looming over me like a beacon, telling me to come in and never come out. At the top, I see birds circling like vultures. 3 legendary birds, Winonas. Oh, and that fight, that's a double battle. This fight is a tribute to Emerald Kaizo, and of course, I just lost the greatest double battle tool I had in my box. I make it into the gym. I fight one trainer. I exit the gym, and I start to feel woozy. Then, everything goes black.
Buddy, it's time to wake up.
Who's that?
Like, I don't know what you're doing, like, sleeping right now. Like, we need a stream, bro.
Where are you? Where's your voice coming from?
Brother, look, dude, you need to go live. I need a stream right now, dude.
Are you in there?
Dude, this game, you can still win this game, bro. Like, what are we doing?
Well, I lost like all my good guys, you know. I was thinking I could just, you know, this next run I could just reset for a better Togi. One with like a plus attack nature or a plus speed, and then it'd be a little easier.
Just cause like some little kid like smoked your pack and took like your Togi and like whatever, like just cause you lost like a couple of like Sherpas, like.
Well, I mean, like, it's just a run, right?
I don't care. I need a stream.
I mean, yeah, I was pretty attached to it. I liked Starmie a lot. That was fun. It's crafty, it's cool, little gent.
Brother, I don't know what are we doing? It's all good, bro. You can just get in there and defeat the enemies.
Well, playing means that if I put them at risk, you know, I have to say like goodbye to them if like I mess up again, right? Like,
dude, this game, you don't need these guys, bro. Like, this game is light. Just get in there, click 6, and go fight.
All right, I'll try.
Yeah, no problem, Char Mickey. I'm the GOAT, man.
Also, who the hell are you? The next day comes, and with it, another crack at the gym. One trainer is already guttered. I take the game one step at a time. Lucid was not going to beat me. One by one, Winona's trainers fall. I can see her, standing there, waiting for me at the end of the gym. I can hear her legendary birds awaiting my challenge. And finally, I take that step and I stand in front of her. This run's fate would be decided by the text on the screen. Either chair whited out, or player defeated leader Winona. In the wake of my fallen partner Togi D, there is only one Pokemon strong enough to take up the mantle of team captain. Starmie takes to the field. His partner, Mr. Rhyme, long since evolved from its time in that egg. Winona leads with Galarian, Zapdos, and Gliscor. Rhyme fakes out Zapdos as Starmie's newly acquired Ice Beam freezes Gliscor into a popsicle. Baiting in double battles is slot dependent. Since Gliscor died in Winona's slot 2, it will look at my own slot 2 for the next switch in. Because of this baiting, Winona sends out Corviknight for a kill on Mr. Rhyme. Since it doesn't see a kill on Starmie, this is a safe swap into Ceruledge and a guaranteed Iron Head. Starmie fires off a powerful Psychic towards Zapdos, which survives. Justice plan. I didn't want Zapdos to die yet. Now it will waste the next turn clicking Detect since it sees that I can kill it. This means that Ceruledge can rip a fat Flare Blitz into Corviknight, burning it to cinders as Starmie whiffs into the Detect. This lets me keep my positioning. Galar Articuno replaces the fallen Corviknight, and with it, my chance to reposition. Starmie swaps into Tyranitar on a Shadow Ball, as Talonflame takes to the skies on a Stomping Tantrum. Winona realizes I had played her. The targeting had been forced to be directly across, and I had just flipped it to diagonals. Now, with Zapdos only seeing a kill with Thunderous Kick, it's helpless. It can't detect again as Talonflame swoops in and slays it. Articuno can attack Talonflame or Hypnosis it. It goes for Freezing Glare, which doesn't crit or put me to sleep. This lets me get some devastating damage on Articuno with a Rock Slide. The fight is still not over. Moltres is in now, the third legendary bird. Since both birds see a kill on Talon, the targeting is forced to be diagonal. This positioning means that Articuno will be forced to attack and not Hypnosis my Tyranitar. Even if I had switched Tyranitar in on a pivot, I had a Chesto Berry just in case. Now, however, I have a problem. I could kill Articuno right now with Talonflame, but Moltres is going for Air Slash on Tyranitar. If I get flinched, Tyranitar is a sitting duck. I don't really have a better Pokemon to beat Moltres. If I slow it down with the Rock Tomb, I'll have the speed advantage, even if I proc its Berserk ability. I need to start taking some risks if I want to get out of this fight without losing any teammates. Talonflame takes to the skies, and Moltres does indeed flinch Tyranitar with Air Slash. Talonflame too high for Articuno to chase, Freezing Glare whiffs. Now I just need to not get flinched again. I wasn't going to give up my spot in the driver's seat. Alright, Articuno is dead. Nice, no flinch please.
Truck.
Okay, now we're in trouble. Okay. This is really bad. Moltres is still full HP. With my side intimidated, I can no longer easily remove it. I have Satitan and Starmie in the back, and Mr. Rhyme with Fake Out. Removing Ment should be easy, but getting one of these Pokemon in will be hard with the damage that it outputs. In addition, this guy has Earthquake, which can seriously hurt my Tyranitar as well. But I'm lucky. Because it only sees a kill on Talonflame, it can only attack into that slot. Tyranitar is just barely out of Earthquake range. My best bet is to go into Satitan with its massive HP pool and hope that Tyranitar can avoid a third flinch from Moltres. Okay. No flinch. Thank you. And not a moment too soon. Now Salamence is the only thing in the field seeing kill, and it's with Earthquake. This lets Talonflame tag out and get a free switch right back in, while Moltres, now slower than my gigantic whale, can do nothing but watch as Satitan skewers the mighty dragon with a single Icicle Crash. Fortunately, this means Satitan will have to go down for the win. Unless... I think 07 Satitan. Oh, my Citrus Berry procs! Can that save me? Please don't Fiery Wrath. We live! Holy sh**. As Talonflame and Satitan double into Moltres, I realize it's over. I'm shell-shocked. The menacing aura that the 4-tree gym once held is fading away. Winona walks up, congratulating me, sending me on my way with a badge pressed into my palm. My team and I, we travel to Mauville, the new home base. It's in the center of Hoenn, and there, I pass the baton of team captain to none other than Starmie. The captain and I, we sit and ponder. I've made many mistakes, especially the last 2 splits. That's okay. Mistakes are for learning. I have to remember that I'm only human. I went into Winona expecting to lose because I had to risk critical hits or flinches or whatever, but here we are. The run is alive, and the only thing I can do is keep playing. After all, I have a game to win. The Tate and Liza split is infamous in all Hoenn romhacks, mostly for its length and their unusually brutal gym. Walking out of 4-tree, I am shocked to meet the soon-to-be mascot of Lucid, Tapu Koko. This guy's just chilling on the bridge and wants to scuffle. I give him a not very fair fight of spamming Spiky Shield with Sand Slash while his dumbass clicks Fly over and over again before securing him for the collection. He comes with the best possible nature and almost perfect IVs for what I need him to do, outspeeding even the fastest threads in the entire game. I'm finally allowed to leave 4-tree. No fights guard the Scorch Slab or the Route 120 grass. Normally I'd have a chance to get Tinkaton, but, well, we all know what happened there, so sometimes you live and sometimes you learn, you know? There, I get the cutest bear ever, Stuffle. With this mascot in my back pocket, I now have support from the UK's strongest soldier.
Oh, why is the game shaking?
Can't handle on! It can't handle on! Wait!
Oh,
Where's he dead?
Wait, I'm fine.
What the f***, Charlie?
Oh,
I'm not fine.
Then, in the Scorched Slab, I collect a Larvesta, which is excellent. Losing Centiscorch was super annoying, but now I have a stronger replacement for it. The next fights are in permanent rain, but compared to 119's horrors with the tall grass, none of them pose a problem. Oh no. Not again. Not another ninja. Not another stupid Greninja. All these ninjas have Greninjas! I prepare myself for the fight of my... Oh. Never mind. This guy was super easy. He must have been a Genin or something. Well, maybe he'll consider changing careers after that humiliation. Hopefully he doesn't find out what I did to his brethren. There's trouble on the last fight of the route. Cool trainer Jennifer. I beat most of her team pretty quickly, but I forget about her Gudra having an Ayapapa berry. Luckily, Tapu Koko can finish the job with support from Tentacruel. Her Lurantis sets up with a contrary Leaf Storm on my Sigilith, but my Flying Dreamcatcher lands a clutch flinch to save its own life and letting me escape the storm unscathed. After the rain comes a bout of sun with a double battle. Ninetales turns the heat all the way up, but Starmie is the perfect answer for most of the threats in this team. Seeing the Fire Tauros come out and instantly get blasted back to the bullpen, oh man, Brawly was so long ago. Man, Starmie is so good, it makes this fight so free. After owning this bum trainer who seems to have an incomplete collection of golems, I run into a Trick Room double with a really good plan. My double battle confidence is totally restored after Winona and that Sun fight, and my plan is really good, except this Hari also has Fake Out, which is why I had to do this. Wait, what? Did I not give the Twisted Spoon?
Bruh.
I gave Citrus Berry. Luckily, this fight isn't very hard, and I'm pretty much able to play the same line from one turn behind, since none of the Pokemon I'm fighting are actually that strong. This is already a good sign, though. I didn't panic when I made a mistake like I did on 119. and I'm rewarded with a relatively clean win and a new encounter. Something Winona has taught me is that sometimes balling hard isn't a bad thing, and you can always keep learning as you go. There's a new problem. This upcoming route has explosives planted at every turn. The fog rolling down from the now closed Mount Pyre means that misty terrain has sprung up all over the place. This terrain prevents status, which is good for me, but it also heightens the power of all Pokemon that know Misty Explosion by like a really drastic amount. Oh, and also, Misty Explosion is specifically buffed in Lucid to be 250 base power. The only Pokemon in my box that can take one of those is Tentacruel. Remember way back when I explained positive and negative AI on Hoenn? This area lets me use that knowledge to my advantage. Misty Explosion kills the Pokemon that uses it, so it's a negative effect. So long as I can prevent it from being the only move that kills, I can navigate around all 5 bombs that are on the route. Or I can force the move into a Pokemon that knows Protect, and then it will simply blow up on my Protect guy, and I'll be fine. These strategies end up working, and every fight goes off without a hitch. I cosplay Neo and waggle around every blast without a single worry. The breaks from the bombs involve more double battles, including a gimmicky fight involving Beat Up. But the only ones getting beat up are the enemies, because Starmie takes down Annihilate and Terrakion with an assist from Talonflame. The gentleman at the end gets put into the blender by longtime teammate Scrafty. His excellent typing and Intimidate means I can control what slot attacks who, using Fake Out to stun up whoever would target him. And there's a reason that Intimidate is the best ability ever made. I didn't have a single death on the way to Lily Cove. The city welcomes my team. That's when I see him. That guy who was supposed to give me the ticket, but for some reason wasn't hanging around Lawbridge. Whether or not it was his time, Brendan wants to scuffle with me now. His reign as champion must have been short-lived. Gliscor gets packed up by Sharpedo as it sets rocks. Sigilif with his Magic Guard ability can defog them away on Sceptile, and Talonflame just rips through his team. Cerulege slays his legendary Latios as Hippowdon crushes the final Pokemon Magnezone. Grumpig was here for moral support. Brendan says we will not meet again. As he leaves, I suggest to him that maybe he should use a more overpowered legendary Pokemon next time. Like, Latios is good, but like, what about a Miraidon? He seems to actually think that's a pretty good idea before he walks off, and I never see him again. Oh, the next patch. Well, that's enough of that. Time to fetch some new encounters. Lily Cove City, I surf and get a Flamigo. Side note, his body is supposed to look like a boxing glove, right? Is that just a me thing? Anyway, a few tiles forward gets me onto the very chilly 124. Seems like there's some kind of blizzard or storm coming in. I fish up a Feebas and leave to go grab the Pokebot case. With this in hand, I can go visit the Safari Zone. Oh, hey! Every area of the Safari Zone has different starter Pokemon available. Alright, surely, this time, I'll actually get a starter Pokemon and not be screwed out of it like when I slept in or when that egg didn't have a starter Pokemon in it. Right? Yeah, actually this time I got one. I got a Bulbasaur. It's really good too. I guess sometimes the patient get rewarded. I actually realized in my surprise that Pyre was closed that I could still fish on Route 122 outside of it. There, I added Timple to the collection, who is probably one of the single highest IV Pokemon I have ever caught. Seriously, look at this guy. But something is off. Mount Pyre being sealed to the public. Was that because there was no evil team looking to take over the world or cause mischief anymore? Truthfully, even though I wrongfully accused the former Elite Four and champion of being evil, there was still a part of me that was worried. It was too quiet. That conspiracy that I felt all the way back in Rustboro. Where is the evil team? They're disbanded, right? That nagging feeling in the back of my head. Ah, forget it. I'm making up a story where there is none. Only one route separates me from Moss Deep City. It's really cold. The route is full of snow. Permanent Generation 9 snow. The kind that gives all ice types 50% defense when they sit in it. This is my favorite part of Lucid by far. Every fight has 1 or 2 ice types, odd sweepers, and a few focus bands and other hacks items. It all goes smoothly until I hit Swimmer Declan. I have a brain fart and I lose Houndoom to Armarouge because I forgot Weakness Policy activates instantly, and then I immediately get crit. I'll admit, I had a bit of a gamer rage moment here. Dude. God damn it, dude. That's so f***ing irritating. Luckily, I managed to hit through the Snowcloak Articuno that could have likely flinched my team down and end the run and move on. It had been a bit since I made a mistake like that. Since Terra Island, actually. I get over it quickly, though, and I make it through the cold to the final trainer without incident. Disregarding the Serene Graves Charizard that seemed to want to pick up where Articuno left off with the flinch hacks. At this point, every single trainer is feeling like a mini-boss. The final fight of the route has a slush rush to Titan with Belly Drum. This guy could easily sweep my team if I am not careful. Tauros, remember this guy, smashes screens, allowing Hippowdon to cleanly get in on Aerodactyl. Jolteon sees a Weather Ball kill on Hippo, and I swap the Ceruledge to eat it. The Evolution tries to set up on me, but my Flare Blitz hits a high roll and just outright takes it out, baiting in the big whale. Using Eldegoss and one of my few precious ability capsules that I picked up along the way throughout this journey, I can pivot between it and Ceruledge to get Cotton Down procs before Volcarona makes her grand debut and melts the Titan into water. Mr. Rhyme can easily pick up the final kill on Como, and we make it to Moss Deep. Well, okay, it's a bit premature to celebrate making it to Moss Deep. I did just lose my only Sucker Punch guy before the Psychic type gym. Wait, didn't I literally have 2 Sucker Punch guys? What happened to Zoroark? What? What? Okay, Sucker didn't kill. Knockoff and Night Days did. Ah, well. Let's just go check out the gym. The second I walk in, gravity brings me to the floor. It's permanent Trick Room. Oh yeah, and every single fight is a double battle. I walk out and decide I need more encounters first. 125, there's a new patch of grass with pseudo-legendaries. Gumi or Duraludon would fill the desperate Steel-type hole in my box. I end up getting a Dino, which is actually my favorite pseudo-legendary. Shoal Cave, I get a Sneasel. And of course, Miss Metagross. The Dark types are really nice to replace Houndoom at least. There's a few extra routes, fishing and surfing. Rowlet and Moss Deep, another ghost to the roster. Lapras on Route 126, which is just an excellent Pokemon. And fishing 127 nets me a Chinchou. Now, I haven't exactly been playing the best, but something is different this time. I don't feel like I'm dwelling on the mistakes or errors as much. This is kind of, in a way, helping me focus. Plus, the box refill helps a lot too. This gym is less of a full Psychic type gym and more of a double battle terrain gym. But unlike with Steven, there's a clear gimmick and puzzle to each and every fight here. This gives me an idea of how to approach each and every fight. Ever since Winona, my outlook on the run has changed. At this point, I'm so far into the game, and I've gotten attached to this box. So I want to do right by my Pokemon to keep this one going, one fight at a time. After all, with no world-ending stakes in Hoenn, the only enemy in front of me, well, is me and my dumb brain. I say as the first fight is about spamming Expanding Force. Luckily for me, Flamigo can simply spam something back. Wide Guard. The Indeedee helplessly watches as I kill all of its teammates. Remember my Azumarill? I've had a Brave Mint sitting in my bag for a chunk of the game, and this is the place to use it. Giving it to an already slow Pokemon to make it even slower and more powerful helps it to contribute in these fights. This second fight was my favorite in the entire gym. A Shadow-type Gothitelle lurks in the back, so it's all about trying to deal with the various spread moves while keeping Gothitelle from hitting the field. This fight takes about an hour to prepare for, but it goes really smoothly and ends up being one of my favorite cooks. 2 down, 4 to go. Every fight takes so long to plan. Hours, plural. The third fight is an easy one. The gimmick is actually exactly the same as the Jagged Pass double. Fake out on one side, Howl on the other. By showing kills and cycling Intimidate guys, I can force one side to just keep spamming Howl while I take out all the fake out guys, and then I get to double in and kill all the setup ones. Side note, I learned that Houndstone Last Respects counts for both trainers' Pokemon. A really good thing that didn't punish me. Fourth is one of the most notorious fights in the game, Hannah and Sylvia. This fight became well known for its irritating leads with Bellibolt and Pincurchin, threatening screens and hazards, and an exploding Alolan Golem that speed ties the Bellibolt, making consistent line planning really difficult. Crafting a consistent line for this one is hard, but with an Electric Seed on Mr. Rhyme, I'm able to mimic the strategy I used back on Route 120, force the explosion into a Protect, and then using Titan to take out the powerful grass starters like Torterra and Venusaur that lurk behind. This fight is very easy. AI attacks its own partners to activate weakness policy. Lilligit and Azumarill almost take out the entire fight on their own. Finally, there is one more fight. It's a frustrating triple Protect, triple Sleep move core. Luckily, Scrafty is absolutely perfect for this one. Chronic gets put through the blender as I take out the sleeping threats with Ceruledge. Bewear's Hammer Arm drops its own speed, letting it mulch the remaining Protect guys without any incident, outspeeding them in Trick Room. Nobody has ever wiped to this fight anyway. I mean, bro, come on, it's a Wigglytuff in the 7th gym. No future Lucid champions would ever have the shame of losing to this guy. And that's all 6. A long, drawn-out gauntlet of twisting, terrifying doubles. But I made it through without a single loss. The twins snap their fingers. The Trick Room effect drops. If I can just get past this fight, I'll be on the final split of the game, hardened by the brain-bending puzzles I had to just solve. I approach the twins with a plan already in mind. The battle begins, psychic terrain instantly going up due to the lead Tapu Lele. Armarouge appears as its partner, a grim reminder of past events. Ceruledge faces off against its inferior form as Sharpedo joins him in the lead. A turn 1 protect from Armarouge means that Shark is safe to set up a speed boost as Ceruledge vanishes into the mist. Diagonal targeting keeps Sharpedo safe from Lele. The protect fades, and I score an instant double knockout, fading in the twins' visions of the future. Iron Boulder and Iron Leaves appear, but with my Shark even faster, a single wave crash erodes the Iron Rock into nothingness. Unfortunately, part of this plan involved letting a teammate leave this mortal coil. Sharpedo is sliced into sushi by Iron Leaves before Ceruledge takes revenge for its fallen teammate, cleaving it in two. The twins are already down to their final 2 Pokemon in just 3 measly turns. Iron Crown and Iron Valiant stare me down as I allow the captain to take command. Crocodile is ushered on in on a psychic move as Starmie slows the Paradox Pokemon with an Icy Wind. Iron Crown's attacks don't even graze the Mighty Star, and a one-hit knockout on both of Tate and Liza's final Pokemon follows briskly after. Compared to Winona, this fight was so much easier. At this point, my box has more tools to deal with the problems ahead. But I'm also just much better at the game than when I was content risking Sawsbuck headbutt lynching my guy all the way back on 110. Speaking of a breeze, there's strong winds being reported. Hoenn's weather has really not let up. From the mist, to the snow, to the cold tailwinds blowing on the way to Pacific Town. Wait, why am I going there again? Oh, something about Flannery? Right, I forgot. So she's been on vacation, celebrating her recent promotion to becoming the final gym leader. Well, I need that badge, so off to find her and yell at her to go home. On the way to the next set of fights, I dive underwater and fetch myself an Ammonite. Permanent Tailwind is surprisingly more manageable than Trick Room. And yeah, as shown on screen, every fight on the way to Pacific in Tailwind is a double battle, but none of them are that hard. At this point, after the Gauntlet that was Mosteef's gym, I'm so well accustomed to double battles in Lucid. All of these end up being pretty easy. In fact, they end up being so easy that after I humiliate every single duo of these swimmers, they all break up with one another, becoming single battles for anyone else that follows in my footsteps. As I traverse the Tailwind, there's a reprieve of land. A Mankey joins my team on Route 130. I fish on Route 129 and I get a Magikarp. That took long enough. Well, there's just one more encounter before I run aground in Pacific, the Sky Pillar. Like 125, it's a guaranteed pseudo-legendary. At this point, there is a Pokemon that will be inevitably popping up throughout the rest of the game that I have no answer to. The Paradoxmon Fluttermane. There is a Mon that can risklessly defeat them, and it is Gudra Hisui. Due to its shell armor ability and incredible special defense, there's no way I'll be able to beat some of the remaining fights without at least one Steel type. So I need to pull it right here. It's a 10% chance. That's a dupe. Finally, my long-awaited Steel type has arrived. At this point in me running the game, lots of people were beginning to pick up and play Lucid. This one is a shout-out for the homies. Oh, yeah, I forgot to fish Route 131, so I get a very unexciting Horsey as well. What is important, though, is that after braving the windy stretch before me, I finally arrived in Pacific Town. At last, Flannery and I meet. She left her villa unlocked, almost as if she was expecting a visitor. She turns to me. Sorry, buddy, I'm really tough. You'll need to deal with another terrestrializing challenge if you wish to fight me. She then passes me a ticket. It turns out there's another member of the Elite Four who had been removed from their spot. Phoebe. Again? Maybe there was foul play. I really didn't want to find out. I exit Flannery's house, and on the way out, she tells me, oh yeah, go to Route 129. Hope you didn't surf there in your hurry. There's a special encounter waiting for you there. I leave and capture a Whalmer, Quillfish, and Dratini before flying back to the said route. Now I have a choice to make. If I take this special encounter, I'll no longer be able to get the most important Pokemon left in the surfing table. And it's not Tapu Fini. It's actually Barraskewda, who has evaded me throughout this challenge at every turn. What if Flannery was trying to trap me? I decide to rip the special encounter, and I am very surprised to be met with a wild Thundurus. Lucky runners can get one of the 4 genies here. All 4 of them are useful, but to me, Thundy is definitely the best of the bunch. There's some more preparation I can do, though, before I arrive at Phoebe's test. Deep in Shoal Cave and on an island off to the east are optional fights for the Eject button and Eject Pack. Despite throwing another Psychic Terrain double and a Curum at me, it's really nothing I can't handle at this point. I collect the items, which will be extremely useful for the fights ahead. Why didn't I do the pack before Tate and Liza? Don't ask. Why didn't I do the button fight before Tailwind? Don't ask. Look, I don't have the answers to everything. I ride the lightning all the way across the sea, arriving in Stella Island. Yeah, Terra, Stella, I get it. This is nothing I haven't dealt with already. The ground rules are the same, and this time the island is ruled over by Phoebe. The trainers all require meticulous planning, since the overall power level is much higher than Terra Island. But I have gotten much stronger as well. Pretty much none of the trainers are a problem, with the exception of Hiker Eric. I end up sitting at this guy on and off stream for 8 hours. He has multiple threats that pose a problem for my box. Metagross with agility, a terrifying golem that I'm forced into using my own Terra to fight, and a Cleavor that the one back in the desert must have called in after I made fun of his younger brother. Scrafty knocks off Cleavor's focus band, allowing Gudra to finish it off. Milotic then engages in a stall war with Magmortar, baiting Golem into Lapras. Since Lapras is Terra Steel, I can Ice Beam into Ice Shard to finish the giant flying boulder. Hydreigon shows Metagross who the superior pseudo-legendary is, as Nidoqueen is kicked into next week by Crocodile. Gudra finally can come in again and easily handle Swellow, and I am beset with relief that the longest fight of the game was handled without any incidents. This was such an anomaly, because this was just a random trainer that just happened to take the longest to plan more than any fight in the entire game. Not a single trainer is anywhere near as hard as Eric. Oh look, one of them springs a Flutter Mane on me. How did I know that was going to happen? Where did she even get that guy? Well, luckily Gudra is able to kick it into next week. Starmie is able to take a break, and the rest of the squad is able to pick up the slack all over the island. Volcarona is a notable standout, fragging 8 Mons on the island with Heat Wave. At the end of the island stands Phoebe, but compared to Sydney, she is a joke. Venusaur finally gets his first impact frag. I outspeed Suicune by 1 point, and with Overgrow and a Jetpack, I can one-shot it with Leaf Storm and send it into Volcarona. Volcarona baits Chi and Pao, who's Choice Bandit. Scrafty, who's been an absolute trooper on this island, easily eats a Lash Out before going full Mike Tyson on this guy. Annihilate wants to turn in the ring, but Scrafty is done fighting for the round and tags into Sigilif on a close combat. My Dreamcatcher Bird claps back with the Psychic, bringing out Sandy Shocks. Thunderbolt goes into Eldegoss, which lets me use one of my new favorite combos. Cotton Down drops its speed, and then an eject button lets me get back into Venusaur, who is still in Overgrow. This means now I outspeed and can just frag with Leaf Storm. This brings in Goldango for a random move. Volcarona easily takes that and melts the Golden Ghost into some chocolate coin wrappers. Phoebe is left with only one Pokemon. Terrapagos. Okay, so I won't lie, I don't know what this thing does. Nobody knows what this thing does. Seriously, this is probably one of the most debated discussions. What does Terrapagos do? What does it do? How does it calc? Nobody knows what the hell this thing is supposed to do. Anyone even know what Terra Starstorm is supposed to do? You know what I did? I just clicked Parasong on this guy Lapras. I stalled for 3 turns with Scrafty Fake Out. Phoebe barely touched my team, and then its health bar just went all the way to 0. Yeah, nah, I ain't dealing with that level of mechanical misplaying. Anyway, Phoebe's plot to confuse me with this Pokemon didn't work, and she says I can go collect my reward. There's a forest nearby, and in it, I meet an Ogerpon. Lapras sings in a bedtime song, and I get to have it join my team, along with one of its masks. I was kind of in a rush, though, so I grabbed the fire one by mistake when I wanted the rock one, and it definitely wasn't because I could only pick one randomly. I've passed the test. It's time to return to Lava Ridge Town. Flannery made good on her promise, and there she is. Second I walk through the gym. Man, it's so hot in here. Way too hot. Is it actually even legal to keep buildings this temperature? Wouldn't all the people have to stand around in here all day, like die or something of like heat stroke? How many questions have I even asked during this video? This gym is so hot because of its gimmick. It's permanent Magma Storm. For those of you that don't know, Magma Storm is basically like a permanent fire spin effect. So the only way to switch out of it is to use moves like U-turn, Volt Switch, Parting Shot, Flip Turn. Items like the Shed Shell, Eject Button, and Eject Pack can also force you into a switch. Ghost types can swap freely, as well as dead Pokemon, as in, when they're dead, you can just send out a new guy. Before the gym, I actually have to separate out all of my Pokemon in the box who can make free pivots. I've collected all these items and Pokemon throughout the game. Now, this gym will be where I put them all to the test. Before I walk in, I get a message from Rain. For once, I get to benefit from a patch. He adds the Thick Club to the game, which matters for literally one fight. Oh yeah, and most people can fish and get the Mickey Bear Scuda guy who outspeeds like pretty much every single Pokemon in the gym, and can learn Flip Turn and Close Combat, so you can use the Eject Pack. However, I didn't have that guy. Don't worry, Overquill. Surely I'll find a use for you in here. At this point, it's time to dig it in my bag and finally spend my resources. I've been collecting heart skills throughout the game, which let me reteach moves. Thundurus and Tapu Koko each can learn Volt Switch and U-Turn, meaning they can lead the front lines. The first fight is Marowak's Thick Club, letting him chain the first two Pokemon. Manectric comes in, but I can switch out my Ghost type into Lantern, who can chip and then flip turn into Tapu Koko to finish it off. Then, the incoming Rapidash gets U-turned into Eldegoss, where I use the same eject button Cotton Down combo that I used on Stella Island to have Ceruledge turn the horse into glue. Then, I can swap into Crocodile, the only Pokemon to not have a way to escape the storm, which finishes off Solrock and ends the fight. See how all these traits work together? The fights in this gym all follow similar formulas, leading to dynamic solutions where I can make use of more niche properties. Cool Trainer Gerald has a Mobstiff with the ability Stakeout. Hey, I found a use for Overquill. It can be a sacrifice so I can beat the fight without any risk. Thanks, Overquill. Those first two fights were the tutorial. Now, here comes one of the big cheeses. Hex Maniac Cole has an absolutely disgusting Togekiss with Blunder Policy, Fire Blast, and Ancient Power. On top of that, the Slowbro Galar with Quick Draw means that my lead could bait out the Rotom fan in the back too early. Creating diverging lines for this fight is the key to success. I make plans for both Rotom or Togekiss coming in early. Legion ends up baiting Rotom, which is ideal. Luxray chips it with Volt Switch so Weavile can come in and kill the Possessed Appliance. Big Demon Togekiss comes in, but Lantern finally gets to strut its stuff, paralyzing it with Thunder Wave and then chipping it a little bit before going down. Weavile finishes the job, so Thundurus and Volcarona can effortlessly dispatch the Tentacruel and the Quick Ball process in the back. With Cole burned to cinders, there are more trainers to follow, but they're a breeze by comparison. That is, until I see him. The final obstacle between Flannery and me, Expert Keegan, a man I assume was her teacher. Keegan is Rain's favorite fight in Lucid. Emerald Kaiser runners are familiar with this guy's extremely scary victory bell, and this fight is probably as hard as that one. Getting a Deathless Keegan is something only the most cracked boxes can handle. I, however, do not have that luxury. Talonflame overheats the lead Iron Treads, preventing Stealth Rocks from going up. The incoming Samurott Hisui gets chipped a little bit before my beautiful bird takes his last flight. He clutched up immensely on Winona, and thus I will honor him for his sacrifice. Thundurus comes in to revenge skill with Volt Switch, using Seismitoad to bait in Electivire. As an aside, why the hell can this Toad not use Slip Turn? It's a Toad! Fire sets up a Reflect as I slow it down with Mudshot, before taking the kill with Earth Power. Ursaluna lets out a primal roar as he hits the field. The frog dives under and chips Big Bear with Dive before going down. Trusted teammate Lilligant takes revenge with the Leaf Storm, ejecting out with the pack to allow Lapras to come in. Reflect goes down as Keegan smirks, his ace revealing itself in a furious maelstrom of fire. Yeah, that guy in Magma Storm. I have no way to beat this monstrosity of a Pokemon in a 1v1. I click Perish Song just like I did in Terrapagos. Lapras has to hold on as long as I can. Because of Turbo Blaze, Lapras is capable of being crit. If it does, Lilligant will have to die. Luckily, Lapras holds long enough. Milotic can come in on the final Perish turn and click Recover to stay healthy as Reshiram is taken to hell for a long nap. Lilligant sighs in relief as Keegan sends out Arcanine. The big dog is just not strong enough to punch through Milo's bulk, and I make it out of the blood-stained spectacle with 3 sacrifices lining the floor. It was different this time. This time I had made that decision to sacrifice my beloved Pokemon. Death was different now. I owned my choices, and my Pokemon, who laid down their lives so we could push through this final, brutal stretch, knew that too. But unlike before, where haunting ghosts sat behind me, I was pushing through this blaze with nothing holding me back. The storm ceases, and I finally get to have a reprieve. Flannery is all that stands between me and Victory Road. Her promotion to the 8th gym leader is likely due to the incredibly powerful trio she has managed to capture. Paradox versions of the legendary beast. This fight is the most twisted double battle yet, with Sun pelting down onto the field, activating all of their photosynthesis abilities. Well, at least there's no more Magma Storm. Without that boiling lava surrounding me, it's time to make a plan, which means using another resource. Oh no! Before I can fight Flannery, there's an item that I'll need. It's the Power Herb, which is guarded by yet another complex psychic terrain double. Planning this takes forever. This is going to be one of the last double battles I'll have to do in the... Or not. I guess the captain was annoyed at being left out of the gym festivities. I run a quick errand, and then I assemble the squad I'll be using to face off with Flannery. It's time. Lucid doubles have been amazing to learn. I think about all of them, all the way back to the beach. Flannery knows as well as I do that words are cheap. We send out our leads. Flannery leads with Torkoal, who sets up the sun immediately. However, despite being her team's enabler, this Pokemon will be her undoing. Omastar is holding the Power Herb, meaning that it's faster and shows Torkoal a kill, which will see its own kill with Solar Beam. Ceruledge sees kill on both of my leads, but remember Lucid's primary doubles targeting rule? The AI can never attack the same slot, so this is directly across targeting. Torkoal, however, is slower, so it will protect to buy itself a turn. It does exactly that, and Ceruledge launches a Poltergeist into Marowak, who switches out into Salazzle, who is not holding an item. Omastar consumes its power herb and fires a powerful meteor beam into Ceruledge, bringing it down to its focus sash as my Mollusk boosts its own special attack. Now, it's time to reveal my secret weapon. Remember that I briefly ran an errand before the fight? I used a heart scale to teach Salazzle a move I had been holding onto until I absolutely needed it. Encore! With Salazzle on the field, Torkoal now sees a kill with Earth Power, while Ceruledge is forced to attack Omastar, who simply protects. The turtle is given a round of applause by my lizard, and is now locked into Protect. This fight is now a 2v1. Salazzle kills off Ceruledge with a Trailblaze, boosting its speed by 1 stage. Meanwhile, Torkoal is forced to protect again, while Omastar charges a second Meteor Beam, but without the Power Herb, it doesn't fire. Then, the first of Flannery's demonic dinosaurs hits the field. Walking Wake, a towering titan whose special attack is boosted to sky-high levels due to the sun. This Pokemon kills 95% of my box in a single hit, and 100% of it with a critical hit. But with Torkoal occupied, this monster can be dealt with. Salazzle has been boosted to be fast enough and reveals my other trap for Flannery. Scary Face, a TM I had carried the entire game and neglected until my friend Bernie suggested I use it. With the modest mint to remove my Omastar's minus speed nature, my Mollusk is now 1 point faster than Walking Wake due to dynamic speed. At +2, Walking Wake is taken out in a single blast. Flannery sends out Raging Bolt as Torkoal's Encore ends. I swap Omastar out, whose job is done. Ogerpon comes in, grinning as it holds up the eject button against the Brontosaurus, exiting into Hydreigon. Sydney's once fearsome monster is now under my command. Salazzle claps for Torkoal as the turtle is forced into a second encore. Raging Bolt can do nothing. The onslaught of my demonic dragon and poisonous lizard sends it out like a strike of lightning. Flannery's eyes widen as she sends in Gouging Fire, but it too meets the same fate from my double-up. Hydreigon and Salazzle are simply too strong. Suddenly, all 3 of the Dinosaur Paradox Pokemon are down. Iron Moth is the last remaining Pokemon. It floats on an air balloon as I refresh Torkoal's Encore again, but once more, the targeting favors me. Iron Moth is forced to attack Hydreigon. My dragon U-turns into Marowak as Flannery realizes she's already lost. Marowak smashes its thick club over Iron Moth's head as I recall Salazzle, Torkoal still helplessly spamming Protect. And that is when her turtle and the gym leader see it. The shadow of the deadliest Pokemon in the entire run, one who has waited ever so long for this chance, to slay the last Pokemon that is standing between me and Victory Road, one many people couldn't have possibly forgotten. Starmie? Listen, bro was bloodlusting, man. Look, Torkoal's dead. We got the kill. Seeking did it. All's well that ends well. Flannery's even a good sport about it. She hands me the badge and wishes me luck at the final challenge. Because now we have all 8 badges. We're going to Victory Road. Honestly, it's hard to believe that I even made it this far. There were so many times this run that I wanted to stop, that I wanted to give up, that I wanted to reset, but I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. Before I head to Victory Road, there are 2 locations in Hoenn that previously I couldn't get to. I was deemed unworthy, and not because there was construction going on. Of course not. No. Mount Chimney and New Mauville are locations that are home to some of the newest and oldest denizens of the Pokemon verse, Paradox. That's right, after slaying many of these beasts on my trip through Rain's Hoenn Gauntlet, I would be rewarded with 2 of my own, one from the past and one from the future. Mount Chimney grants me the beast that it just caused me to go to such great lengths minutes prior to defeat, Walking Wake. But New Mauville is interesting, as the Pokemon there are generally seen as weaker. At least, I thought so. There is one that I want, and it's a 10% chance after all for most of the encounters here. I hadn't asked for much before. Goodra was already enough for me to be happy that the run had tipped the scales back into my favor. But, screw it. Sometimes, you're due, right? Okay, here we go. Please be good. You all have seen the thumbnail. My mind is racing. Both of these are incredible Pokemon with very good IVs and very good natures. I grab an Arcan from the Desert Underpass. Womp womp, this guy doesn't do anything. And Evergrande City gives me a Jangmo-O. which also pretty much does nothing. Womp womp. At this point, Victory Road should be little more than a vibe check. With the potential for another steel type inside, and powerful items like the Life Orb, it's dawning on me that I'll have to do what I did in Flannery's gym again. There are some Pokemon that will not be able to make it to the Elite Four with me, and my team knows who will have to fall in line if it means that we'll have to make it to the end together. The first fights of Victory Road are all weather-themed double battles. At this point, my box is so powerful, along with the newly acquired booster energy, Iron Valiant and Walking Weight just blast through these fights. This is when it's time to say our first goodbye, but it isn't a sad one. Lilligant, one of the longest-standing mainstays of this run, launches her final Leaf Storms before retirement. There's no more fights left in the game that I need to bring her to, so I want her to peacefully sit and watch after all the hard work she put in for me. As we keep moving, I know she will cheer us to victory. The last roadblock before the final encounter is Cool Trainer Edgar, a devastating sand fight with one of the highest confirmed body counts in Lucid. Luckily for me, Walking Wake is one of the best Pokemon for dealing with two of his biggest threats. Emolga and Tentacruel valiantly give their lives to let me through, and I'm rewarded with my final encounter of the run, a Grimmsnarl. Well, okay, there's one more encounter. Flannery slipped me a pass to the Marvel Game Corner before I left. And while you can't play games there anymore, there's a free prize that they give away to all lucky trainers part of the exclusive 8-badge club. I get to choose a starter, any starter. Oh, finally. I've been waiting since the start of the game to do this. I can just pick whoever I want. Oh, Infernape looks so good. Blistering Speed and being just the best starter ever made. But I end up picking Piplup because, God, I have no steel types and I just need, like, another one. Like I said, Victory Road is just a vibe check. Cool Trainer Julie even suggested I should replace her as a trainer in there if I managed to beat the league. I don't think she actually said that, given that she was just some random NPC bum that I easily handled, but hey, sure, why not? I'll humor her. At this point, I could start sacrificing weaker Pokemon from the box that have no chance of making it to the Elite Four. Some of them, like Omastar, Beware, and Ribombee, hurt. They were good guys, good Pokemon. But then you have the loss of Grumpig, Hitmonchan, Farigiraf, Archeops, Arbok, Decidueye, and Tyrantrum. Was I becoming heartless? Losses like the Ninja Boy disaster, Terra Island, Wandsplit, Houndoom. I'd been so troubled by those deaths, but now I was just throwing lives into the fire like I had in the last gym. Was it all just because I wanted to win? Satiate myself atop the mountain of victory? No, it was because we, the team, agreed it was the best thing to do. Because of this, every fight has multiple fail-safes. Pokemon have to die, then it was a necessary evil. And I could be proud knowing that they did it for us. With that moment of self-reflection done, I run into one of the final trainers of Victory Road, the Gatekeeper, the dreaded, Cool Trainer Terra, one of the most powerful trainers based on one of the greatest Nuzlockers in the world. Wailord and Masquerain have to be sacrificed as his Marshadow and Shaman Sky threaten to decimate my team. In fact, even Terra himself couldn't beat the raw power of his doppelganger.
Oh, Battlebond, I know about. Oh, wait, it does change the forum. No! It's over. I think I'm wiping here.
But listen, sometimes we tell lies for fun. This fight was very easy. Sorry for the tease, guys. And Terra, release your game, please. Oh God, that's it. I'm free. Fresh air and no incidents. We really made it. We really made it to the Elite Four. You know, despite my misgivings, I really was worried. There wasn't a single lingering Team Aqua or Team Magma grunt anywhere. And that paranoia I had about the former Elite Four members taking over the region turned out to be false too. I just worried all this time for nothing. Now I just have to walk through the gates and... Oh, someone's tapping me on the shoulder. Maxie? Archie? Oh God, what the heck are they doing here? I knew it. It was all too good to be true. They're trying to revive their evil organizations. I have to stop them. Thankfully, they hate each other, so they don't ambush me together. God, the idea of working with one another must make the two of them sick. Thank God this isn't a double battle. Maxie sends out Groudon. Yeah, okay. Good job keeping the peace, Hoenn. Just give the guy a Groudon. Let him keep the legendary he was trying to take over your region with. Ogerpon eats a Jolly Mint before smashing it upside the head with a Grass Gem Woodhammer, killing the Titanus legendary in one hit. Scovillain comes out next, and Ceruledge is able to slice it up for salad. Gouging Fire is next. Gyarados can pivot through an Earthquake. It tries to set up with Howl, but Walking Wake drops a fatty Draco on its brethren. Mimikyu skitters out. Gyarados pivots through again with an eject button, so Goodra can easily win the 1 vs 1 with Intimidate support. Maxie's own Ogerpon comes out, shining in the bright sun. I have nobody powerful enough that can beat this thing 1 vs 1. Sun-boosted critical hits from a Ivy Cudgel are way too powerful. Unfortunately, the choice of a sacrifice. It's the run's kill leader, up there with Starmie, Saralech. The time has come to say goodbye to one of the most trusted members of the party. Unless he survives like 3 Ivy Cudgels, never gets crit, kills with Bitter Blade into Shadow Sneak, which was a horrible range, and then just lives because he's better like that, okay? Yeah, anyway, there's a Honchkrow, Thunderous kills it, and Maxie's beaten. Before I can even blink, my team is healed. Pelting Rain from Kyogre follows as Archie smirks. Ogerpon's Grass Gem has also returned, letting it slam the enormous legendary with a Cudgel of Ivy, baiting in Archie's own Ogerpon. What?! Why did this come out? Is that bad? Wait, that's really bad. But either way, the wrong Pokemon is facing me down. This was the only fight standing between me and the gates, and now I had a Swift Swim boosted Basculegion, not dissimilar to when I fought Juan standing directly in front of me. Relief washes over my face after I realize it doesn't actually change anything. The giant fish can never knock out my mass legendary, so a Wood Hammer takes it down, recovering the original plan. I, however, need a sacrifice to get into Thunderous, and unfortunately, my little friend here must be the one to be put on the chopping block. 1 acrobatics later, an Ice-Cube skates onto the field. Goodra can easily beat it with Flash Cannon before Quaquaval takes center stage. Gyarados repeats its Maxi Eject performance, pushing Thunderous back into the storm. It takes a ridiculous amount of damage from a single Aqua Jet before cooking some Peking Duck. Archie snarls as he sends in a beast I've beaten before, the greatest of necks. Gyarados offers himself for a fish fry before Walking Wake asserts its place at the top of the food chain, toppling the mighty beast with a Draco Meteor and sending Archie to his knees. We're done. We're truly done. Maxie and Archie are both defeated. Now Hoenn can really be safe. I defeated 2 literal gods, Groudon and Kyogre. Now, wait, why do they have those? Huh? They were just challenging the Elite Four themselves and got absolutely blasted? You mean, they weren't planning to take over Hoenn? Oh, this is so awkward. Well, let's, change the subject. Look, the gates. Let's talk about the Elite Four. It's 4 double battles, and the champion will be fought as a single battle. The Elite Four can be fought in any order that I choose, and I will be unable to use the Move Tutor menus. I can freely pre-damage, pre-status, and teach TMs between fights. I can also use any nature-changing mints or capsules that I still have available, but I can only choose 6 Pokemon to come with me. And here it is. This is my all-star team. These are the 6 strongest Pokemon that I can muster from this box. The first pick is an obvious one. A double battle centered Elite Four needs the best doubles Pokemon in my box. Scrafty. This is my oldest surviving Pokemon from the very first captures of the game. With his incredible bulk and access to Fake Out, he will be the primary support for the team. Second is hard to choose. I deliberated Thunderous for a while, but in the end, I decided the raw speed of Tapu Koko was necessary to deal with some of the fast threats in the final battles. Its access to U-turn and Volt Switch is critical for positioning on key threats. Plus, it's the game mascot, and you gotta bring the mascot. Third was a lock from the get-go, Goodra Hisui, my trusted Iron Wall who has been the biggest savior of this run. With Shell Armor and access to a variety of support tools, Goodra will be the vanguard of the team. Fourth is a key Pokemon I am bringing for distinct threats, the powerful Steel types that I myself have fumbled and failed to hold on to myself. With Overheat now in my Moth's disposal, the run's other late game hero will be key for taking out the bulkiest foes. Fifth is the latest addition to the box, one who, in Victory Road, I had been given a little taste of its addicting power. Iron Valiant, the Paradox Pokemon of the future, with a maxed out attack stat and more moves than I could ever hope to choose between. He will be the difference maker in cleaning up the fights. And of course, last, but certainly not least, Seaking is the Pokemon everyone was sure of. It was one when I was planning this Elite Four, its status was never in doubt. One that I've had almost as long as Scrafty, and has proven itself, even this late in the game, to be worthy of joining the highest ranks of my run's strongest Pokemon. Okay, fine, it's Starmie. This time, like, of course it's Starmie! Like, come on, guys. I know I pulled the same joke not too long ago, but it was too easy. Yes, I get it. Funny joke. Ha. Starmie has been the biggest shock of this run. It's actually absurd to me that a Pokemon from the first generation, with all of the power creep Pokemon has had in the following 8 generations, is still keeping up in these hard ROM hacks. In a way, it reminds me of me. Years after I started Nuzlocking, I'm still here. I'm here to shout my name as someone who can hang with the big boys and girls of Nuzlocking. It's time. Walking through the doors, they shut behind me. There's no going back now. Instantly, I see them, the 4 Elite Four members. Jasmine and Whitney from Johto. Janine and Misty from Kanto. So these were my opponents. The ones who replaced Phoebe, Sydney, and I presume Glacia and Drake. I decide I'm going to challenge Jasmine first. Steel-type specialist gives me an accusatory stare. Ah man, she has to know about all those steel types I've bungled. There's no words, only battle. Leading with Sandy Shocks and Landorus Therian. Captain Starmie and Gudra meet them at the door. A tag team from the 2 Pokemon involves trading Protects and slamming them with High Tide, turning the sturdy ground types into mud. A double knockout means Jasmine brings out the big guns. Raikou and Metagross replace the fallen ground types. I, however, came prepared, as Gudra's held Shukaberry prevented Landorus from dealing enough damage for Metagross to kill my metal monster. This means diagonal targeting. Volcarona can come safely in on Raikou's Aurasphere, as Metagross blitzes Starmie with the Trailblaze. But the captain came prepared with the Protect, which flips the targeting to directly across. My team leader passes the baton to Tapu Koko, while Volcarona melts Metagross into slag. Koko's entrance also serves to bait Jasmine's biggest threat, Melmetal, the mythical monster. Koko is merely here for the hit and run, bouncing off Raikou with a U-turn to allow Iron Valiant to take the stage. Volcarona's incredible special bulk can take even a crit skull from Raikou, allowing her to freely burn the mythical monstrosity to slag before it can even get a move off. Then, Jasmine sends in her final Pokemon. It's hard. It's hard to see it. Togi D, my once trusted partner. Of course I lost it. I messed up. I will not mess up again. The past does not define me. I protect with Volcarona as Togi D stuns my Paradox Pokemon with a Fake Out. The captain swaps in on another Scald as Valiant finishes off Raikou with a close combat. Togi D goes for an Iron Head kill, but I came prepared. My Paradox Pokemon is holding an Eject Pack, allowing it to safely escape into Scrafty. Togi D can only watch as my oldest encounters clash, ending in my victory. Jasmine is defeated, and she wordlessly ushers me out. But as I leave, I could swear I see her smile. The next fight will be Misty. The rumor has it she's the toughest of the 4. She challenges me instantly with Iron Bundle and Multiscale Dragonite. For the second time, the captain is at the helm, this time with Iron Valiant. Starmie protects on a Freeze Dry, while Iron Valiant goes for the throat on Iron Bundle, ejecting into Gudra as Dragonite strikes its metal shell. Armed with the Rocky Helmet, this extra chip will matter later. Some pre-damage means that Gudra will consistently get the correct move next turn. A Bolt of Lightning beckons Misty's fastest Pokemon, Zera Aura. With Volt Absorb and a White Herb, it's very difficult for my fastest hitter, Tapu Koko, to take head-on. Starmie baits Plasma Fists, so I switch into Scrafty with an Eject button. Intimidate shows why it's the most broken ability in the game, and instantly burns the White Herb, while weakening Dragonite, who is not Inner Focus. Scrafty tanks the hit easily, ejecting into Iron Valiant, while Gudra can now get speed control with Mud Shot. Thanks to Gudra's pre-damage, a Dragon Claw from Dragonite means that I can bait a second one the turn after, letting me swap for free into Koko on an ineffective hit. My Paradox Pokemon has swapped spots and is now faster, meaning it can take out Zera Aura in a flurry of blows. Desperate to turn the tides with her ace gone, Misty sends out a Shadow of the captain. However, the chip from Rocky Helmet has weakened Dragonite enough that my 2 Pokemon can simply claim a double kill on her Imposter and weakened Dragon before either can get a move off. We are now in the endgame, baiting in Manaphy and Togekiss. Togekiss is forced to kill Valiant with a spread move due to it being a positive effect. This means I can reveal my trump card. Valiant has Wide Guard, negating all spread moves. Manaphy tries to kill Tapu Koko, who does the do-si-do with Starmie on Togekiss. Volt Switch, Flip Turn, Volt Switch, knocks the egg right out of the air. Volcarona with a Pasho Berry can protect itself before Valiant takes down Manaphy, claiming its 4th kill of the fight and ending round 2. Misty is impressed, chuckling how Starmie's defensive play contrasted its former offensive capabilities. I leave, heading for Janine's room. She will be the 3rd opponent. Janine's strategy looks scary on paper. Her leads could set up hazards if I don't do something about them quick. Captain Starmie leads for the 3rd time in a row, with Tapu Koko as its partner. Koko kills Greninja before it can set up hazards or activate its Protein ability and kill Starmie. Another frog down means another tally in the Charlie versus the Ninjas category. This means that the captain can break Glamora's focus sash while it sets toxic spikes. Sneasler comes in next to kill Coco, but now both of my leads can simply outspeed and frag both it and the weakened Glamora. Half of Janine's team is dead in only 2 turns. Coco's Volt Switch gives Scrafty the red carpet. In turn, Scrafty's pre-damage after getting poisoned by spikes baits Hisuian Typhlosion, while Starmie baits Iron Jugulus. Now, Starmie is the captain of the ship, but what's a ship without a cannon? A space cannon. Power Herb lights Starmie's fuse, while Scrafty stuns up Iron Jugulus with a fake out. Typhlosion doesn't even get a chance to breathe, as it's blown to space dust by my ace's meteor beam. Janine responds with her own ace, Naganadel. It answers the call from Ultra Space, being even faster than Starmie. An eject through Volcarona gets me into Valiant, and a swap into Goodra on a poison move means that I can easily pin it down, launching a Fairy Gem boosted Moonblast, obliterating Jugulus. Goodra finally launches a Dragon Pulse into the alien, and the battle of cosmic proportions is over. With that, the ruling ninja class has been subjugated. In a way, I feel as if I've taken revenge for my fallen. Out we go. 1 fight left. Whitney, the childhood run killer. Something is off though, right from turn 1. This isn't right. Meteor Beam destroys Staraptor. Tapu Koko sings Iron Valiant to sleep. Goodra smashes Sylveon. Beware is taken out by Starmie's Psychic. Valiant slams a close combat into Incineroar. And Scrafty smacks Monkey Dory down with a knockoff. I could have blinked. That was it? I look at Whitney, who doesn't react. It was too easy. I turn to leave and... Whitney smirks, holding a second set of Pokeballs up. We're going for a second round with her real team. Now's as good a time as any. I shovel a careful mint into Goodra's mouth and teach my remaining TMs before sending Scrafty and Tapu Koko to meet the 2 Titans. Scrafty fakes out Ursaluna as Tornado summons a Tailwind. Nothing I haven't seen before. Tapu Koko thunder punches the genie out of the sky, bringing Roserade out to the party. Tailwind turn 1. Whitney's Pokemon attack, but both of mine protect. Tailwind turn 2. Ursaluna attacks Scrafty with Moonblast, but Starmie holds the eject button this time, defending its oldest teammate and getting into Iron Valiant. Koko swaps into Goodra on a Sludge Bomb. Tailwind turn 3. It's the final turn of Tailwind, and Whitney tries to break through my defenses, but Valiant protects as Goodra eats a Solar Beam from Roserade, chipping it back with Mudshot. As the Tailwind expires, I smirk. The careful mint had done its job. With the chip damage and some pre-damage, Goodra has flipped the targeting from diagonal to across. Goodra shields itself from Ursaluna as Roserade is sliced up by Valiant. Now I've kicked the bear as Iron Hands joins Ursaluna, a VGC nightmare duo. Goodra swaps into Volcarona on a Drain Punch as Valiant finally shoots the moon with a close combat. As Ursaluna falls, Whitney sends her refreshed Sylveon back in. Volcarona explodes in a fiery blast of overheat, doing half damage to the Metal Paradox Pokemon as Tapu Koko swaps in on a Thunder Punch. Sylveon lets out a Hyper Voice. Valiant pulls up Wide Guard, defending my team. Koko finally defeats Iron Hands with an alluring voice. Whitney then shows her trump card and throws a ball out. My eyes go wide in disbelief. It's Terrapagos! Phoebe's Terrapagos! There's no terrestrialization, merely the hardened shell of a powerful legendary Pokemon. Valiant holds the guard as Koko U-turns on the turtle, breaking Terra Shell as Scrafty comes back in to tank a Terra Starstorm. But Whitney sees her chance. Sylveon can Moonblast Scrafty, or so she thinks. Scrafty cheekily fakes out Sylveon. Valiant drops the defense and crushes Terrapagos with its shell already cracked. Whitney stares in pure shock as Goodra and Volcarona finish off her final Pokemon. A cheeky test. I was, however, strong enough to pass it. Twice! My entire team and I had come together, and there was nothing stopping us at this point. Whitney allows us to leave, for real this time, and wishes me luck on the final battle. There was a different feeling as I walked the stairs. The Champions Room, the final end of, at this time, a 3-month journey. Every day I went live, played this run, the time I wanted to quit, the times I didn't believe in it. There was never a video game in my life that I had wanted to win more than this challenge. And as I walked through that door with all my friends that I made in-game and out of it supporting me, there was only one thing left to do. That was to finish the job. It's the last fight! It's the last fight! Come on! Come on, I want this so bad! Please! She needs a Koraidon! We're leading with Beach Boy! Okay, this Koraidon is so insanely fast. Costa Bearing Moonblast gets it done. Goodbye. This always beats Fluttermane. Completely random move. Volcarona
Lives random move, always. Gudra, you've killed a lot of Fluttermane in this game. One last heavy slam, baby. Let's go! For the road. Should be Latias. Excellent. It's always Dragon Pulse. We go into Tapu Koko. We U-turn. Adamant Life Orb. Volcarona, unfortunately, your time is up. See ya, Janine. Thank you very much for all the heat waves. We go back into Tapu Koko. U-turn always kills. Get out of here. Valiant, just barely, baits Moltres, and does not bait Ancient Power. Beast Boy, you're a pretty cool Paradox guy, I gotta admit. Thank you very much. Tapu Koko. Adamant Nature, Wild Charge, always kills. This is always Baxcalibur. Tapu Koko, thank you, man. You were truly a guardian. Scrafty, you're up. If you guys were not convinced that Scrafty is the GOAT, Scrafty lives max roll Glaive Rush crit. Scrafty, take this guy out. CC. It's just Blaziken. This thing is a Focus Sash. We need to break it. Goodbye. Captain Starmie, the last one standing, besides his oldest teammate. Cuff Step Fairy, Psychic.
And thus, I had lit the fire. I had regained that passion, the desire. I had satiated it. Satisfaction from total victory. But that was enough. That was enough for now. So I stood and I watched the embers fade once more. But the thing with fires is they can be relit. I will Nuzlocke again one day. When? Who knows? But for now, Scrafty, Starmie, everyone, let's go home.